Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. And today I'm going to be talking about an item that was actually featured on another YouTuber's page. Um, this young lady does a show called Treasure House. I can't tell if it's from Minnesota or Kentucky because I think she's made mention of Minnesota in the videos, but I've seen Kentucky on the address, so I don't know. Anyway, she was discussing this. She bought a house a few years ago with all of the previous owner's possessions in it. She calls it Treasure House, and she does videos about once a week discussing, what her findings and everything. And she had found a collection of these. Apparently, this man was quite the collector, and to the point where the house really became a hoarder house, and that gets things. That's when collections go haywire, get out of control. But anyway, he had a nice collection of the wire insulators, and I don't know what she's going to do with them, whether she's going to keep them. And she's pretty creative, so she might actually keep them, or she might sell them on eBay. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, I have one. I have one of these. It's actually got something on the top too. But anyway, this came from Huntsville, Alabama when we lived there, and my dad acquired it probably in the early 1970s. It used to be on the telephone poles in Huntsville on Montesino Mountain. I also got a hold of another one I found in a thrift shop. It actually says Hemingway. This is a lot more clear. It says made in USA. Was it 19A-9, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Nothing across the top, but very clean, very crystal clear. And I got a hold of that one. Just bought it out of a thrift shop. And anyway, what I was going to discuss basically was this one in particular. A little thing that I did with it. And when over 10 years ago, I used to go to this one church, and we had this pastor. It was a Lutheran church, as a matter of fact. I am Catholic now, but used to be Lutheran. But anyway, went to this Lutheran church, and we had a young pastor, and he had a thing that he did every Sunday called Message in a Can. He would have the children come to the front of the church and do like a children's sermon, which I've seen other pastors do in other churches as well. And he had a 5-gallon paint bucket, kind of like what you get out of Home Depot. I think it probably was from Home Depot. I think it was an orange one. But anyway, they would put a random item in the bucket, like a picture frame, football, etc. And the pastor would base a children's sermon on it. And I thought, I told a friend, I'm gonna have when your son's turn, I'm gonna have him bring something that's gonna give this pastor a run for his money. So anyway, it was his son's turn to bring it, and his son wanted to bring something different. Had some planned, and on a hunch, the way their family is, I thought there's a chance this kid might forget to bring it. So I brought this wire insulator as a backup, and put it inside of a black bag. And sure enough, it's time for Message in a Can. He realizes he forgot to bring the bucket. So I hand him the bag with the wire insulator and tell him to take this up there. So pastor says, okay. And he hands him a bag. He said, oh, okay, message a bag. And he takes the wire insulator out and he's looking at it and he said, what is this? And I about die laughing. And my friend starts to laugh too. He sees me about to lose it. And he's like, I need some help from somebody on this. So I did what I could to try to explain what the thing was, which I did not completely know what it was at the time. And one of the ladies in the congregation said to the pastor, "You're too young to know." Well, he managed to muddle through this thing and base a children's sermon on it. I don't remember what he said or anything, but I after church, an older gentleman came up to me and started talking to me about the wire insulator and told me all kinds of things about the wire insulator that I didn't even know. He told me what it was. It was a wire insulator, and oh my gosh, I got quite a lesson on what the thing was. Now, about a week later, when church was over, I told the pastor, I'm the one that brought that wire insulator. He says to me, I know you did. He knew that had to be an older person was behind something like that being brought, but I just thought it was so funny seeing the pastor's reaction and to not knowing what the thing was. it was a funny memory, and I thought I would share it. This thing, I believe earlier on my YouTube channel, real early when the show first started out around 2012, I believe I did discuss the history of the wire insulator. If you want to look at Treasure House, that young lady really did a thorough explanation on the history of it, more than I did. My format's more generic, and she had music and videos and all kinds of stuff added on with them. I'm old school. I don't know how to do a lot of that stuff, and maybe if I had a younger person to work with me on this, maybe I could come up with something a little better than what I have. But I do. She is one. Her shows is one of the ones I like to watch, and yeah, I hear people mention shows they watch, and I wish somebody would mention mine. Really, I've yet to have anybody mention mine, but you never know. People like history, and my show is about history, especially obscure aspects of history that I discuss. And with that being said, like I've said before, I'm looking for ideas on shows to do in the future. Shows about preserving history, especially obscure aspects of history. And with that being said, like, subscribe, share. As always, thanks for watching.